Well, I think we are live, so good evening and welcome everyone, and welcome to a new edition of our EHF Expert Hangouts. Well, as you can see behind me, we've got the Women's EHF Champions League as our topic today. We're just about 48 hours away from the first matches in this season, and well, I'm very pleased to welcome our panel for tonight, and well, very, very pleased, I have to say, to welcome our special guest, Anna Jokic, former Champions League winner, and who's just started actually to work for EHF TV, joins us today from Skopje. Hi, Anna, how are you?
Hi, well, welcome to everybody. I'm very well. I'm here in Skopje, so you know, handball surrounding, so it's very good still.
Well, straight from the handball surrounding, I'm sure you can give us some very good insights about the upcoming season. Joining us as well today, two very familiar faces from Germany, our Champions League correspondent, Björn Patzen. Hi, Björn.
Hello.
And from Denmark, another very seasoned EHF Champions League correspondent, Peter Brun, who joins us from Frederikshavn. Hi, Peter.
Hello. Hello.
Well, Anna, it's your first season without handball.
Yeah.
The first season actually not only without handball but also without the Champions League. How are you feeling? How's life for you these days?
Oh, it's really, really strange. It's really, really hard. I was used to live with handball. I was used to live on the court. So it was really hard after 2 months when I rested, because it was enough for me. I really missed handball, and when everybody started with the trainings and everything, I was staying at home and doing the trainings alone. So it was really, really hard. So now I think it will be more harder now, looking all these things that I want to do, I still want to do. But I think I made good decision, and anyway, I stayed in handball. I will work with you, and I'm now some kind of expert.
Well, that's why you're here in our panel. When the teams play, are you going to be in Skopje in the hall watching it, or do you prefer watching it on TV? How's your approach these days?
Definitely, I'm going tomorrow. I'm traveling to Podgorica because I don't want to miss the first match, and I think this will be the most interesting match in the first round. So I will be there supporting everybody because I have two teams I love. So I will supporting handball this time. And of course, it's just starting. We have all Champions League season in front of us. So I will be in the hall definitely, because it's my life. It's not the same from the home in front of TV. You need that atmosphere.
Peter and Björn, you've been covering the Women's Champions League for many years. What kind of season do you guys think? What are we up for? What can we expect?
I think we're in for a very exciting season. I see a lot of teams with a lot of quality among those 16 teams in the group phase. So actually, my expectations are very high. And when we look a bit forward and seeing look at what how many of the teams have been reinforced, we will probably get back to that in detail later. But I think we'll see some very high quality handball as the tournament progresses. And personally, I'm already looking forward to May and to the Final Four, as I think we can expect some very high quality teams for that event this season.
Mm-hmm. And what are your expectations ahead of this season?
I think it's because of some reasons it's a very interesting season. The first is, of course, as Peter said, some teams have really reinforced. But the second thing is that there's a new playing system with the quarterfinal and three teams going to the main round, and then you have this additional quarterfinal. And when you compare it a little bit with Men's Champions League and you see what teams might face in the quarterfinal, then we will have a thrilling way to Budapest, mainly the last two steps.
Okay. Guys, I'm throwing the first question straight ahead out to you, because as you know, people follow us on Twitter, people use the Google questions and answer tool here, and we had a question coming in from Rodrigo, and he asked whether Gyuri Audietto KC is ready to go all the way again. Well, Anna, what do you think?
Me, I think it will be really, really hard for during this season because they have stronger Budućnost, stronger than last year, and they have Vardar with very, very good players with what Vardar didn't have last year. So it will be very hard. I expect them in the final, but for the winning of Champions Leagues, they have to show something plus, because they are not the same team last year. So I think it will be much more harder. Last year it was like easy for them, and now I saw some matches. Of course, they have a smart coach, so he will find out something. But I think they lost more than they get with new players. So it will be harder than last year.
Björn, how do you see Björn? And maybe you can.
I see it in the same way as Anna, but because of mainly one reason. This is when you see the last seasons. In my opinion, 20% of the success of Gjør was goalkeeper Katarina Lunde, and due to pregnancy, she's out for this season. And of course, they have Jelena Krubicic, but it's not comparable with Lunde. And I think without Lunde, that Gjør will have much bigger problems to win the competition again. And I absolutely agree with Anna that Budućnost and Vardar and mainly also a team like Larvik or Bayer Mare have much better chances to win the Champions League compared to last season.
Peter?
Well, I agree with my two honored colleagues that Gjør will have a much harder time this season defending the title than they had last year. Partly because of the absence of not only Katarina Lunde. I agree with Björn that she was probably 20% of their winning last season, but also because of the absence or the departure of Katarina Bullet. They have signed Susan Müller instead, but can she make up for Bullet? I'm not sure of that. And of course also because, as we've already talked about, several teams have reinforced more than Gjør have. So I see maybe 4 or 5 teams who can more or less on an equal basis compete for that title. So things will definitely not be as easy for Gjør as they might have been in the 2 previous years when they won the Champions League. But of course, if they make it to the Final Four, and I expect them to do so, then of course they will have a certain advantage by playing more or less at home, or even though the finals will be in Budapest and not in Gjør. But in general, I see a very, very open and very exciting battle for the Champions League title this season.
Anna, maybe you can give us some insights into the team psychology, because you've obviously been there. A team that has won the Champions League twice in a row now, that have very much dominated the competition. How does it enter a third year? Does it feel satisfied, or is there still hunger?
Yeah, that's one of the topics I wanted to speak about. I was talking to the girls because I was the summer in Gjør. So it's very hard to find a new motivation. Of course, the hardest thing for the players that they won 2 times, so they already get something, and they are like, how I can say, they're already expecting again. It's not that you, of course, you know, all of us, we know that we have to fight for this, but you are sure, you have self-confidence that you showed 2 times, and you're playing at home. You have that kind of self-confidence that it's not good in this case for Gjør, and I think that they have to find some plus motivation, because as you know, Görbitz it's one of the leaders in the team, because Lunde is not there. So and she won it 2 times, and as we know, she wanted a baby, so she really have to fight with herself to find a new motivation for this. Of course, when they start on the court, it's not counting, because you find somewhere your motivation for every match. but it will be, with motivation, it will be harder for them than for example, Vardar, or who never won and really won it, or for Budućnost, who really want to prove that one time it was not accidentally. So I think that they don't have advantage in this psychology topic too. So.
Björn, from your point of view, if we, and that's what you agreed on, if we see that Győr is looking at a very tough season, who do you think is the team? We've already mentioned a few, but who do you think is the team most likely to jump in and fill that gap?
I would say I absolutely agree with Anna. Two former clubs, I would say definitely Budućnost now. If they don't have any major injuries of their key players, they can definitely go to Budapest. They can definitely go to the final. And maybe a lot of persons I talked to, and also we had in our countdown, saying that the first round match now in the group phase, Vardar with Budućnost, might be a nice final in Budapest. So I would agree. The interesting fact in this season will be Bayer Mare, because they have a role like Vardar had last season. They have a lot of new stars in their team, and it's up to the coach if he makes a team out of the stars. And if it fits like it fit for Vardar, in their first ever Champions League season, they made it to the Final Four, then they're a candidate also for going to Budapest. On the other hand, we have Larvik, in my opinion, who are grown a little bit, and they have changed their style a little bit. So I would say those 5 teams plus one surprise team, as we had with Jylland last year, or in the men's competition, other surprise teams. So there might be a surprise teams which we might not talk of today, which can go all the way to Budapest. But I would generally say Vardar, Budućnost, Győr, they're something like set for the Final Four.
Peter, could you name one team that you can see is really up there to topple Győr?
It's hard to point out just one team, I would say. I very much agree that Budućnost and Vardar are very good bids for a top position and for the final. And Bayer Mare, of course, if they can make all their new players function as a team. The big question about Bayer Mare is, of course, will there be a female Paris this season, or will they manage to get all those new stars integrated? If they do, and of course they have a group phase to do so, they will probably proceed to the main round with no problems anyway. So if they can make all that fantastic squad click in time for the Final Four, they'll definitely be a dangerous contender. Maybe also Larvik, although I am a little bit unsure about them, partly because they have 2 rather young goalkeepers after the legendary veterans Cecilie de Gang and Lene Rantzala have both ended their careers after the last seasons. So it will be Danish Sandra Toft and young Alma Hasanec who will be guarding the goal for Larvik. Of course, they do that very well in the domestic league, but we all know that there is some kind of a big gap from the Norwegian league to the Champions League. So I'm a bit uncertain about Larvik. They have got some interesting new players, of course. Alina Bolza on the left back position and Sanna Solberg on the left wing position, but they're also players who will have to get integrated in the team first. So maybe Larvik is a bit of an outsider if we still talk about those 5 potential candidates for the Final Four. After all, it is a Final Four, so only 4 of them can go through.
Anna, can I
one moment about the Larvik? I want to say I agree. I totally agree. There's some kind of they're always there. They're always close somewhere. It doesn't matter if they have young players, old players, new players. I don't know how, but they find a way. They always have a good way for fighting for something. So I think the Larvik will be, let's say, dangerous for the teams. They will play good. I'm sure they will play good. Doesn't matter which will be the players. Doesn't matter if you know the names. Doesn't matter. They just know how to do.
And of course, I'm sure one thing speaks in favor of Larvik. We spoke about motivation a while ago relating to Joe. There's absolutely no doubt that Larvik will be top motivated, and not least because of last year where they missed the first ever edition of the Final Four, and that was a great disappointment to Larvik. So that will undoubtedly make them extra motivated for success this year. So we should definitely not write them off, and I'm absolutely not doing that.
And can I ask you this team building question that has come up? We talk about Bayer Mare being a new Paris, and from your experience, how long, and when you played, how long did it take the teams you played for to integrate new players and to really form a coherent team that plays as one unit, so to say?
So it depends how many new players you have in the team, but the base of the team, first 4 or 5 players you have to have stable in the team. And if you have this, we are speaking if you have this, and you have now new players like we did, like Vardar, for example, has now. They need half a year to start playing good. They have a minimum. They need minimum half a year. Last year, it was of course everybody expected Vardar had a good team, but it was totally new team. If you have 11 players like we had last year, you cannot expect really winning of something, because it's you have to use to one on each other. You have to use to on the system. Now it will be easier for them because the system already exists, so they have to just a few players who came have to stick on the system, and if you already have this, you just go up. Like Budućnost showing this all this time. They are bringing some new players, but if you have the base, the new players are just sticking on it, and it's going like it should be. So I think minimum half a year, or let's say 1 year for next year, building some really good results. Of course, we are speaking about good teams, good teams like for winning champion leagues, for what is doing now Vardar from last year, or Bayer Mare. They really want to win too. So I think Bayer Mare can be a really good concurrent this year for winning.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you think, Björn, and or Björn straight away, about Bayer Mare? I mean, Camila Herrem, Nascimento, there are obviously some household names playing in Romania now, but are household names enough or not?
There are 2 different examples. Do we take the example of Vardar last year? I would say the team still had the kind of Balkan mentality plus 5 French national team players. So this is different to what Bayer Mare is doing. And Bayer Mare, I would say it like Peter said, a new Paris, because they took from all over the world. They took top players from completely different mentalities, from completely different clubs. Scandinavian players, Brazilian players, and everything like this, Romanian players, and so it's a really tough work for a coach. And I would say that Indira Kastratovic last year had an easier job than the coach of Bayer Mare this year, because there were a lot of players who played together. Of course, you could say Nascimento and Arna played in Hypo, and this and that played there together, but it's really it's like a puzzle with 1,000 pieces. And I don't know how many pieces they already got together. So of course they have one advantage to Vardar and Budućnost, because they have a stronger league. So they have to be fully concentrated already in the league, and maybe this makes the time shorter to find it as a team. I don't know.
No, I think this will be the main problem for Budućnost and Vardar, because they don't have really strong matches. For example, yesterday I was on the training with Vardar. They played just 2 matches, really good matches till now. And for starting champion leagues, it's really not enough. It's really not enough. I think they can play just after 1 month of champion leagues, after they really start to make a form. It will be the hardest things for these 2 teams.
Lack of competitiveness. Do you see that as a problem as well, Peter? And Can that maybe be an advantage for any other Scandinavian team apart from Larvik that we already mentioned to become a second FC Midtjylland after last year?
That's always the ongoing discussion. Is it an advantage or a disadvantage that you don't get under pressure at home? There can be said positive things about both teams. About both things. We saw an FC Midtjylland team coming home from the qualification tournament for the group phase of the Champions League with players almost so worn out that they couldn't even play or go to a national team training camp afterwards. So and they get under pressure all the time in the Danish league. They had 2 league games in the week before going to the qualification tournament. So it's always there are always two sides of that. Is it an advantage? Of course, you are kept keen, you are kept on your toes all the time if you're under pressure in the domestic league, and you may be a little maybe too relaxed or something if you just go from one big win to another in your own league. But it's very difficult to say anything in general about that. Last year, probably FC Midtjylland may have got so far as they got because they were under pressure in the Danish league or on a daily basis. But then again, they had a larger and broader squad last year than they have this season. So you also have to look at what players do you have, how many players do you have at your disposal, if you should be able to ride several horses at the same time.
I agree with Peter. I have to say I was looking in the qualification in Kragujevac, so I saw Midtjylland. I really have to admit that I will miss this team in Champions League this year because it was really good team with really good work. I liked them so much last year. But as Peter said, it has two sides. The good league has some advantage, but in the case of Midtjylland, they came with a half of team. It was not close to Midtjylland, so I'm really sorry. And I think if there is existing some middle, it would be great, really, to have some matches to have good preparation for Champions League, but really to feel relaxed and not have the tension all the time.
Let's talk about probably one of the biggest transfers at the beginning of the season, Katarina Bullet going from Győr to Budućnost. I mean, Anna, you obviously know her very well. Is that like do you think that's like a homecoming for her eventually?
Yeah, definitely it is. Definitely, it's her home. Definitely. Yeah, she felt very good in Győr, but she will feel much more better in Budućnost. I think she will show this too, and I think it will be easier for her because she was so many years in one system, and changing of system it's hard thing for the players. So she's using for working in one way, and it will be for her. It will be like it's not new team. It's just she needs just to get herself to good shape. So she's not new. This is the advantage of Budućnost too. She's just going back home. So it's for her and for the team. It's a big plus for Budućnost. It's the biggest plus for the Budućnost.
Björn, can Bulatovic, from your point of view, be the decisive difference? And can Susan Müller, whom you probably know best, can she replace her at Győr?
I think the first thing is the funny thing I have to admit to Anna Jokic. I was last weekend at the preparation tournament in Umag, and in my opinion, the two best players were Budućnost players. So it was Svijic from Serbia, and it was Bystra from Poland. So the base is quite good that they will fit as a team. Of course, we should not forget that she plays now with Neagu like she did in Volchea. So together to Susan Müller, of course, I talked to her last weekend, and she said, okay, I really like to enter the footprints of Katarina Bulatovic, and she said she had a warm welcome in the team. I think the style of play is a little bit different. Susan, showed it at the World Championship that she can be a goal machine. But it depends really on those who play next to her, that she got the possibility. Katarina Bullet is more going in this 1-1 situations going through. And yes, I would say it depends on how you see if she can replace her. It's only the number of goals or also the passes and assists on the defense. So I really
think
be
she
interested.
cannot replace her.
That's a very straightforward.
I was playing with Bulatovic, so, and I was looking Susan, but I was feeling really safe next to Katja.
Peter, how do you see that? Maybe we can, for you, talk about the change in the Larvik goal from obviously the two goalkeepers that retired to Sandra Toft, the Danish national goalkeeper. Is there a loss of quality, or is there a consistent high quality in the Larvik goal from your point of view?
Well, of course there is a loss of experience. Let's face that first of all. And experience is, of course, gold when it comes to a goalkeeper. But still, I think that the goalkeeping position in Larvik is in very good hands with Sandra Toft. She has come back about 6 months ago from a couple of serious injury breaks, and she seems to have reached the level she had before she got injured. And that has to be said, that this is at the exactly best time seen from a Larvik point of view. She's been praised very highly in Norwegian media for her performances in the Norwegian league, and of course that's a great league, a great environment for her to get self-confidence, because the opposition is not all that frightening in the Norwegian league, at least not when you play for Larvik. But of course she also realizes that there is a gap from the Norwegian league to the Champions League. But then again, she gets a lot of international experience and match practice from playing in the Danish national team, where she made a comeback at the Golden League last week. So that will of course also give her a boost. So compared to the last seasons of Rantala and Legang, and it was of course mostly Legang who played. Rantala didn't play much in the last years of her career, but compared to those, of course, it's a lack of experience, but I'm not so sure that it's a lack of quality, as Sandra Toft in particular, and we should not forget her partner Hasselitz in that connection, are very, very, very good and very talented goalkeepers. So it will be interesting to see them in the Champions League, now that they are to carry the responsibility alone.
Quick question for Anna here, coming from one of our users. Our Brazilian friend Rodrigo asks, Anna, have you ever played against Daniela Piedade? I hope I pronounced that correctly. Yeah. And if so, what do you think of her?
I played so many times against her, of course, when she played in Hippo. I think she's really quality player. She's a very good player. So respect. She's very strong. She's of course she's playing on my position, so she's not the best. I am. Of course, I'm joking.
A bit of praise here.
But I respect her, and I think she's very good. She was when Hippo was playing really amazing. She was part of this team, so she wouldn't be there if she doesn't have qualities. So respect for her.
Cool, thank you. Well, Rodrigo, I hope that answered your question in depth. Guys, let's go. Björn mentioned it at the very beginning. Let's talk a bit about the new playing system we have this season. For the first time after the main round, there'll be quarterfinals. First of all, Anna, just from a pure player's point of view, what do you think of such a change? Or what makes the difference for you?
I have to say, it's really, I'm thinking all these days about this. It will be very strange for us. It's not the same. If it's not the same, you used to one kind of playing. It's last year or before, it was really important. Every match, every point, it was important, like you are dead or alive. Now you have you can start like relaxed, because really you can play first 2 matches like, okay, I will get my shape, and then I win and I'm third. Okay, I will have a harder match in the quarterfinal, but I'm still there. I have chances, you know. So it's from one point I think it's good, but from other point it's not, because you can play really amazing, really very good, and then when you have to play kick out, you just don't have a day. So it's happening, of course, in sports. So I'm curious. I never played like this. I was speaking with the girls. Almost all the girls are thinking like me. It will be for starting. It will be strange.
Do you, Björn and Peter, do you think that new system is beneficial to some teams, and the opposite to other teams potentially? Just the pure fact that they have to play a knockout doubleheader at some point.
I would start a little bit earlier, and not only with the quarterfinals, but the whole system has changed. So you don't need a draw until the semi-final now. So, and this is when you see you take your points from the group phase to the main round with those teams who go with you, and then you can already look now, when you look at the groups A and B and C and D, what might be the 4 teams which go to the quarterfinal in the end. So you can start, as you know, I love calculating. So you can start calculating very early what teams will go from which side and what might be the quarterfinals. So I would say it's a benefit now for those teams who are in the weaker groups to take the points to the main round, and then have an easier way. Maybe in the tough matches you don't have to win to qualify for the quarterfinals again, as you already start with 4 points something. And when you look maybe on the group, like the group with Leipzig, with Grimm, Dynamo, Hypo and Leipzig, and there's a great chance for Leipzig now to go even to the quarterfinals, because they might take a lot of points there. And then when you see the group with Vardar and Budućnost, for example, or Larvik and Bayer Mare, they kill the points from each other, and so they will not go through by 0 points to the main round, or by 6 points to the main round. So it will be, the main round itself will be something like a little bit of buffering the results from the first round to the quarterfinals. And then it's like Anna said, that even in the last 2 rounds of the main round, maybe you can already look in the other half and see, okay, if I today win, I play against Team X, and if I lose, I play against Team Y. I would say the quarterfinal brings more tension, and the quarterfinal can bring teams up which maybe at this moment have no injury problems, and the top favorite in this quarterfinal has injury problems, that you have a big surprise team in the semifinal or in Budapest then.
Peter, can I throw in a question, or do you want to add anything?
Oh, you can come up with a question if you want.
Got a question from one of our Twitter users here. What do you guys think is the weakest link of the top 4 teams? And as top 4 teams, our follower here names Gjør, Budućnost, Vardar, and Larvik, the weakest link of these 4 teams. Maybe, Peter, you start with Larvik. What do you think is the weakest link of Larvik?
Well, following what I have said earlier, I would say that at first sight Larvik looks like the weakest link, but still you should not be mistaken by them. They may surprise us all. If it cannot be called a surprise, I wouldn't be surprised if they go to the final 4, or if they even go all the way to the final. I only say that compared to those other 3 or 4 teams, which I see as the top of the peloton, the top of those 16 teams in the Champions League, I would say that Larvik may be just a little bit after the others. So if I'm asked to point out the weakest link of those 4, it will have to be Larvik, and I hope that Tord Ramon and Ole Gustav Gesta will not kill me for this.
Yeah?
Fully agree with Peter.
Okay, Anna?
Peter.
Thank you very much for the support.
Well, guys, I think it's time to, as you say in English, to put your hat on the chopping block and name the 4 teams that you see as the 4 Final Four participants and the eventual winner. Anna, you're our guest, so I'll leave it. I'll leave it to you as the last. So you can first listen to Peter and Björn, and then I'll ask you. Björn, who are your 4 Final Four favorites, and which team are we going to see on the winners' podium in May next year?
Vardar, Budućnost, Bayer Mare, and Gjør. The final is Vardar Budućnost, and I don't know exactly what happens after extra time.
So, okay. Well, no winner here. Okay, I'll let you go away with that, Peter.
Well, I'll have to change the order a bit, because I'll have to say exactly the same 4 names as Björn. Gjør, Vardar, Budućnost, and Bayer Mare will go to the Final Four. Vardar will win the final.
Okay, so we have a new winner in the club's second season.
After extra time against Budućnost.
Okay, that's a bit more precise.
Two extra times.
Okay, and now it's your turn.
Yeah, I knew it yesterday and day before. So I think like Björn. So Budućnost, Vardar, Gjør, and Bayer Mare. But exactly like Björn, the final. But the final is final, so you can never say anything about the final, because the final is something special. I was playing 90 minutes finals, so one mistake or one good thing can decide. So luck, or I don't know, two good teams. I think it will be like this.
Well, guys, thank you very much. Even though you know this was hard to for me to narrow you down to a winner, but we'll see. We've got Peter who says Vardar will win it. Well, in just about 10, no, is it? 1, 2, just about 7 months we'll be much wiser, and we'll know who's won the Women's Champions League. Until then, we'll have a lot more Hangouts, and I'm sure we'll see all 3 of you again on at least one of them. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. Thank you very much for giving us your insights. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Thank you, too. Bye-bye. Thank you for being part.